Hello and welcome to another F-Zero Machine Recreation video with your host Captain JJ back at the helm. Last time round we did the Hyperspeeder driven by Beastman. This week our machine takes us to number 19, which is the Space Angler. First off, we're going to take a look at the colour, and while you're here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified of all my YouTube doings. Right, back to the video. We are choosing a lightish blue from the Honda range. We're going to cover that over with the main machine, plus we're going to do the wheels because it's an anti-gravity machine. We've got to make sure it's all pretty consistent. Right, so first off we're going to do the front section. This machine is a little bit simpler on the design front, just like a few other machines in the roster, so it won't be as long this time round. The majority of the machine of the Space Angler is covered in this light blue colour, except for a few areas like the top and the sides, which are going to be used as a darker blue. So first off, we're going to be using the decals on the front to replicate the blue section. Make sure it covers the majority of the machine, and I did have a bit of an issue trying to figure out how it works because I'm doing the front and it's a little bit awkward. So what we're going to do here is just make sure it fits, turn it around, and I'm going to make sure it comes all the way to the headline. I say comes all the way to the headline, thank you. And we're going to colour that in blue, and we'll do the same on the opposite side. Now we're going to cover up the remaining parts like so, because sometimes it doesn't do it all. But we still carry on with the front. We're going to over to change the winglets. And we're also going to change the underneath of the car, so make sure it doesn't cover everything. It goes halfway over the grille, and repeat what I did earlier, and that is the front section completed. We're now going to move on to the side section, where we're just going to do a couple of lines because it has a diagonal line shape on either side, and to make sure it all fits nicely. So I did make a bit of a mistake on the first attempt. The second attempt, it's more lengthwise I'm going to do it instead of the other way around. Did have a bit of an issue trying to figure out exactly where the best place was to put it, but I decided to do it just after the wheel arch so there isn't a compromise. Height of the design. Colour that in blue. Do exactly the same on the opposite side, like so, and there the lines are done. We are now going to move on to, well, just cover up a little bit more on that side, make sure it's all completely even. So we just do a little bit more of a alteration on the front, like so, so there's less gap between that and the lines. While we're at it, we're going to do the front bonnet, we're going to do the number. Space Angler is number 19, so we're going to be using the GX numbers. I still need to find a 3, but that's another video. And subscribing. A little reminder, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified of my YouTube doings. So we're just going to do that number on the front bonnet, and that's that section done. Now we're going to do the same on the roof, but first off we need to colour this in the same dark blue as we did on the front. So we are just going to make sure we get this lined up. We don't want it to overlap to the right hand side, so make sure that doesn't happen. I realised also it's a little bit too much of an overlap on the front, so we're just going to reduce the size of it slightly, make sure it doesn't overextend to the back. And then once you've done that part, we go over for the back windshield and do exactly the same there, do exactly the same colour. And yeah, that is the middle part of the section completed. We are now going to move on to the numbers. And the numbers on the Space Angler are located on the top of the machine, so we're going to replicate that by putting the numbers on the roof, which is a little bit unconventional, but it's how the machine was designed. So what we're essentially doing is do one number, duplicate opposite side, duplicate, move across, duplicate on the other side. And now with the right hand numbers, we're going to replace that with the 9, and on the left hand side we're going to do it the same thing on the other side. Like so, and there we go. Also notice that the numbers are a little bit uneven, but it sometimes has happened. That will be modified later. We're also going to move to the rear wing section because it's going to be the continuing theme of the darker blue on top of the lighter blue. So we're just going to extend this all the way across the rear wing, make sure it covers the entirety of the rear wing. which it does. I tried to make sure it tried to go underneath, but I can't seem to figure out a way how to do it, so we are going to leave that there. So we color it in the same color blue as we did for the middle and the front, and that's your rear wing section completed. Now I've also noticed here that we need to do the rear wing end plates as well, the thing that holds the rear wing. So that also needs to be colored in the same color, and that's that section done. Now we're just going to do a couple of modifications before we finish up. So now we're going to move on to the little air intake, which is located on the side. So for that, we are going to be using the circle. Reduce that size to make sure it fits in without overlapping onto where the fuel cap is on the right hand side of the car. First off, we color that in black. We're going to duplicate on the opposite side, and then we duplicate that, turn it grey, and then reduce that slightly so the black circle still separates. We duplicate on the opposite side as we did before. We are now going to move on to the little 3-pointer, which is also on the cap. So we're just going to cover that like so. It's going to be 3. I've made a decision to do a 120 angle. We duplicate that, turn it another 120 degrees to make sure it's 240, then move across to the other side, like so, and then you have to duplicate once more, and then turn that to a straight 0 degrees and put that on top. It may be look a little bit uneven, but sometimes it does like that. We're also going to color all 3 sections in black, and we're going to duplicate each one on the opposite side to complete that section. Now, as you also notice that the rear of the top of the machine even is actually not covering the entirety of that area, so we're going to extend that a bit like so. So now it does cover the back because it's meant to do that. We're also going to do a little shape at the rear to make sure it's even like so. Oh look, nope, there we go, that's better. So it's even like so, and that's the whole of the middle section completed. So that is ultimately the finished machine of Space Angler. A little bit more of a simpler design because of how it's designed in real life. This is based on the F-Zero X GX continuity. Anime is basically identical, except the front is entirely dark blue. If you did enjoy this recreation video, please do leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Also, please share the video and leave a comment in the comment section below. We are moving on to the King Meteor next week. Daily video uploads will be continuing. Tomorrow's stream is also going to be on YouTube, which is me tackling the new Gran Turismo daily races. But that's it for me, Captain JJ. I'll see you all again tomorrow for the live stream of Gran Turismo 7. And until then, it's goodbye from me.